Golly, this comic book is the bane of my existence. This is Excellent Man -1. It is a flashback to the origin of Nate Fenix. I thought I would get this comic out from my collection because of that Cables and Dead Pill story where Cables, he was reborn using a similar idea. And I'll be coming back to the whole getting this comic out of my collection thing. But first, I will reveal something exciting and all behind the scenes-y. I have done nearly 600 videos, and in all that time, there have only been 4 comics I have been unable to review. 3 of them comics were all issues of Excellent Man, including this one. I tried to review it about a year ago. Excellent Man, the issues, they are so fucking nothingy. There's virtually nothing happening or worth commenting on. There was one I spent like 4 days trying to review. It was this shit story where Nate Fenix teamed up with the Hulk. And it was like so slow and there was no real plot or anything. They team up, they fight a bad guy, they stop him. That was it. It was unreviewable. There was nothing to say, there was no character stuff. The first 15 pages were just the 2 characters walking towards each other. The other comic I couldn't review, by the way, was a Superman one, because most of it was just Gladiator, the Captain America rip-off, having a pint in a pub. So I decided to look at this issue of Excellent Man again, because it ties in with that Cable story. And I spent 5 hours looking for this. I couldn't find it. I looked everywhere. I even went through the box that I really need to send off to Robin. I looked through that to make sure I hadn't put it in there, and I couldn't find it at all. So I had to buy this comic for a second time. And the eBay seller, he wouldn't let us buy a single issue by itself, so also I had to buy a comic that I didn't even want. Otherwise, they wouldn't ship it. And the thing is, I definitely own this comic. I really had tried to review it before, and it was like, there's nothing to say, and you can actually see that I definitely owned this comic. I absolutely had this comic without a doubt, because if you look at the thumbnail of my, I think it's my second cover spotlight video, like very clearly at the bottom left, you can see it. By the way, this is a very good cover. Tommy Daniels. A great cover by him. Them pseudo collage things that I make for the thumbnails, they're like a mixture of some covers that I pick out. But I like to throw in ones like this that I didn't talk about. Otherwise, well, there's no point watching the video if you can see the 5 covers in the thumbnail. And yeah, I am padding this video out with all this backstory because there's fucking nothing here. Nate Fenix originally, Sinestro created him. He's like a test tube baby. He was made using Cyclist and the Whore's DNA. He's the Age of Armageddon equivalent of Cables. He's kinda a parallel version of Cables, but at the same time there is so many twists and differences that writing him off as an alternate universe version of Cables, it's a bit inaccurate. The big change is that Nate Fenix, he's younger. Well, here he is even younger. He's like an infant, but normally he's like a teenager and he's very angsty and he cannot control his powers. The other thing with Excellent Man and his book is that, we have this character with potential and a lot of promise, but his book almost never lives up to it. His book, it lasts 75 issues and it has 4 different writers. Of those 4 writers, only one of them is any good and he lasted the least amount of issues. John Ostrich, he wrote, I think, 5 or 6 issues. The series, it started with Jeff Nobles's writing. He was also writing Cables's book, An Excellent Force, and he co-created this character. And at the risk of this channel becoming nothing but anti-Jeff Nobles propaganda, I'll say that Jeff Nobles, he was definitely the second best writer on the book. And you know what? He clearly created a character with some prospects. The longest writer for the series was Kavanagh, who wrote about 50 of the issues. He is a writer of this one here, and I have described him before as one of the worst writers of the 1990s. He was an editor who decided that he could write, and his run on Excellent Man, it's probably the best he ever got, and it's still a comic that I cannot review. The final writer for the book was Warren Fallis, who tanked the series. He completely broke the lead character, and both the book and the character, they died abruptly. This issue here, which there's nothing to talk about with, it's probably one of the highlights. It's a useful look at Nate Fenix's Origine, which we had only seen brief flashbacks to, and his whole relationship with Sinestro. The art is by Roger Madureira, and it is good. Sinestro, he looks great there, but it's really not a story. It's just a handy little bit of backstory. If you've never read his book, if you've no idea at all about this character, this is like a good primer or setup for Nate Fenix. Although even on that front, you're kind of missing him growing up or getting shunted across to the main Marvel universe, which are important parts of his story. Good art page here though, isn't it? So yeah, Sinestro, he created and raised like a version of Cables in another reality, just like what happened with the real Cables in Cables and Dead Pills. This review was definitely worth all the nuisance that it was. I already said at the end of the Cables and Dead Pills review that it was similar to Nate Fenix. I didn't have to do this. This comic is inoffensive in a way. It's like a colour by numbers, but maybe just using the same colour. It's like a bare minimum of what it has to be. There's nothing to it. It's a bit like a comic written by a computer on autopilot. It's got a good cover, it's got good interior art. That counts for something, I suppose. If you bought all the original artwork for this issue, you could rewrite this as something really good, probably. But where is my folded out recap page, Marvel? Because of that, I'm just giving this 7 thumbs up.